Halo, one of the vastest gaming universes the world has ever seen. With a story spanning over a total of 13 games, 5 web series, and 23 books, it is safe to say that Halo has one hell of a story to tell. In this video, I'll be giving an explanation of the Halo story told through the first book, The Fall of Reach, game, Halo Combat Evolved, and the 6th game, Halo Reach. The story revolves around the life of Spartan 117, Master Chief. It begins with John, a young boy, aged 10, playing King of the Hill at school against other classmates. After showing superior tactics and physical ability, a woman approaches John. She displays a coin and asks him to guess if it will land on heads or tails when she flips it. Every single trial, John guesses the correct side.
Bird.
Very good. Again.
Man.
Again.
Man. Bird. Bird.
5 out of 5, John. That's unusual.
The woman, Dr. Catherine Halsey, hands John the coin as a reward. She takes note of his incredible reflexes and physical abilities, and marks him as a candidate for the Spartan 2 program. John is kidnapped and replaced with a clone that will die of natural cause later in the day, faking John's death. The Spartan 2 program is an elite soldier training program funded by the United Nations Space Command, the UNSC, to fight an arising insurrectionist movement. It requires all candidates to be of very young age and possess superior genes, physical and mental abilities. Immediately after being indoctrinated into the program, they are subjected to an extreme physical training. This training was so brutal that members even died because of it, although this was only the beginning. The intense training was to ready their bodies as they reached physical maturity for augmentation, a series of dangerous surgical, chemical, and genetic enhancements done to the mind and body. Most members of the Spartan 2 program died during augmentation than any other given moment. These intense biological enhancements effectively increased their strength by 3 times, drastically decreased the reaction times, made their bones practically indestructible, and increased blood flow to the eyes so that they could almost see in the dark, and other various improvements. After settling with their newfound abilities, the Spartans quickly proved that the augmentations have surpassed all expectations, and their cohesion in battle is amazing. These augmentations were made so that they may use the newly developed Mjolnir power armor. This power armor would not work with normal humans because it was too strong and too fast. Regular human bones would snap, and reflexes were way too slow. The Spartans suit up and use the armor with ease. Now with the ability to sprint at superhuman speeds and lift a bus with one arm, the Spartans were ready. John, showing natural leadership abilities during training and on missions, was given a special module along with his armor, an energy shield module. Only one had been developed. Dr. Halsey saw it fitting that John should have this for extra protection as he was the team leader. February 3rd, 2525. First contact is made with an alliance of alien races that refers to itself as the Covenant. A single Covenant warship exterminates the entire surface population of the outer colony Harvest. 3 UNSC warships are sent to investigate. Only one of the ships return, having been badly damaged, kickstarting the notion that the Covenant are very powerful. One by one, the planetary colonies of humanity fall. A plan is organized to have the Spartans infiltrate a Covenant vessel and capture a prophet, a Covenant leader, in hopes of negotiating a truce. The plan is interrupted when a massive Covenant fleet enters the solar system and engages the UNSC defense fleet around the military planet Reach. On the ground, Covenant forces are overrunning almost everything they encounter. The sixth member of Noble Team, the main protagonist of Halo Reach, assists with slowing the Covenant's progress of total annihilation. Noble 6, along with the rest of Noble Team, succeed in slowing the Covenant's progress long enough for Dr. Halsey to extract critical information from an ancient alien artifact dated even older than the Covenant. Noble Team is assigned with delivering this information to the Pillar of Autumn, the ship that John is stationed on. In acts of bravery, every single one of Noble Team dies carrying out the mission. Noble 6 witnesses the Pillar of Autumn take off from the planet after saving it from an approaching Covenant warship and is left stranded on the planet. Noble 6 fights off waves of alien elite soldiers and vehicles for 10 hours, but is then overwhelmed and presumably killed. In an act of desperation, the Pillar of Autumn plans to make a hyperspace jump to a random point in the galaxy. But before this is done, John suggests that the gathered data could potentially be of use. The AI, Cortana, takes potential coordinates from the data and jumps the ship to it. The coordinates lead the Pillar of Autumn to what the Covenant had been searching for: Halo, an extremely sacred artifact to the Covenant. Later on throughout the story, it is discovered that the Halo Ring is in fact a superweapon left behind by an ancient alien race known as the Foreigners. And it's not the only one. In fact, there are 8 Halo Rings. The first game and second book pick off from the ending of the first book and game prequel Halo Reach, in that the Pillar of Autumn crash lands on the Halo Ring. John discovers a super alien parasite that takes control over any living sentient being with the sole purpose of destroying the universe. The Halo Rings were made by the Foreigners to destroy the food of the parasite, to starve it out, meaning to massacre all sentient life in the universe. After learning this, John decides to overload the Pillar of Autumn's fusion reactor to destroy the Halo Ring. He is successful in doing so and escapes in a longsword fighter bomber. This is where the first game and second book end. Throughout the books and games, there are some key differences. The books are of course in much more detail than the games. This is obviously due to development costs and time, of course. But there is one very key difference that separates the video games from all the other forms of media. They never clearly delve into John's background. He is rarely referred to by his actual name.
It's good to see you, Chief.
He almost never speaks. Neither do you ever see his body underneath the armor. His helmet rarely even comes off, and when it does, his face is hidden. For example, in Halo 1, John takes off his helmet in the end, but his face is hidden using clever camera angles. Even with Halo 4's special campaign ending cutscene that is only shown if you beat the game on the hardest difficulty, John's face, for the first time in the video game series, is revealed. But you only see a slim portion where his eyeline is. This is something consistent throughout all of the Halo games, so it's clearly meant to be there. But why? Why not give the player the background of the character they are playing? The satisfaction of knowing who the super soldier badass really is. The reason behind the concealment of John's identity is actually rather simple, yet very impactful. The game developers want the player to feel as if they are John. That they are Spartan 117. They are Master Chief. Giving the player this key element of enveloping them into the universe of Halo gives a completely different experience. The player is given the impression that they are the super soldier badass in that Mjolnir armor that saves all of humanity from a seemingly unstoppable alien alliance. That isn't exactly achievable in books, movies, or shows because there's no element of interaction that comes even close to that of a video game. I also believe that there's a different vibe for video games than books. When reading a book, you are reading and following along with the story. When playing a game, you're not just following along, you're experiencing the events happening at that time in the story. There are many games that present their story to the player in a more of a book-like fashion as well, such as Fallout 4 with long pre-selected dialogue that you just want to skip through because it's basically someone reading the pages of a story that were written down on paper.
Leaving the place. The guards heard gunfire in the distance, but we don't know exactly what happened. Check in with Maria at Parsons. She's in charge of the security force there. She can point you in the right direction.
It's spoon-feeding the game lore, and it feels out of place in a video game environment. This is what separates the Halo games from other games, and even from its own books. So do you just want to follow along with the story and sit back and relax? Or do you want to become a Spartan